Today we are talking about variables. Not just variables, but we're also going to talk about data types later on. So, to start out, we have these things called tokens. And tokens are going to be the smallest individual unit of a programming or of a program written in any language. These are going to be things like plus, minus, times, divide, period, semicolon, reserved words, which we're about to go over. And these are going to be things that are just the most basic units of the programming language. And reserved words those are going to be also called keywords. Those are going to be words that cannot be redefined within any program. And must be used for their intended use. So, some examples of some reserved words. You can also find these in your book, but you can also find them on the doc that I provided in the topics. This is going to take a second for the internet to load this up, of course. I probably should have had this loaded up before, but there's lots of things I have to load today. So your reserved words. Come on. Good old internet. Week 2. Here we go. Your reserved words, when this loads, are going to be, if it ever loads, in C++, your reserved words are going to be everything that pops up in this table one day. This is great internet, Cox. Thank you. Okay, there we go. So these are all your reserved words. And they're going to be things like char, which is a data type, float, which is a data type. Let's see some more that we're going to learn today. Short, true, false. They're just words that when you use them, they mean that and only that. You cannot use them otherwise in your program. Oh, you guys didn't see that. I'm dumb. Okay, so let's go back to that. So, these are the reserved words. And they're going to be things like, char, float, false, true, short. They're just words that when they're used in a program, they mean that and only that. You can't go back and redefine them. And this is a list of every single one of them in C++. Okay, so with that being said, we need to talk about identifiers. Identifiers those are going to be I don't like this definition I wrote. Identifiers consist of letters, digits, the underscore, and the underscore. Character. And must begin with a letter or underscore. Pretty thin here. Let's see. Be that. There we go. So, an identifier would be something like apple, pen, underscore car, underscore dog. These are all valid identifiers. Oopsies. And then things like one apple, dot pen, question mark underscore car, exclamation point underscore dog. Those are going to be obviously not identifiers because they don't start with a character or an underscore. And characters are just anything on a keyboard, or not a. Technically, I guess it shouldn't be. I shouldn't have said character, or since it's not a letter or an underscore, because there's other characters that aren't letters. We'll go over those a little bit later. And then we also have whitespace. And that is going to be blanks, tabs, and the new line. Character. C++ doesn't care about whitespace. So whitespace is going to be like, I know there's nothing here, but a space. It's going to be, well, I guess that's not whitespace, but technically that would be whitespace as well. You've got like a tab, which is like a bunch of spaces here. You've got a new line, which is like, if you're talking here, a new line is when you go here. This motion of going to the new line, that is whitespace. And now we can talk about variables. The variables are allocating, space, in memory, or RAM. they tell you two things. One, the name to use and the data type. They use. And I guess technically they tell you a third thing, the value they hold. But when you make a variable, these are the two things you're specifying. When you define a variable, this is what you're specifying. And there's some syntax for variables. And that's going to be data type, identifier, identifier. We're going to run out of room. We can do this. Dot, dot, dot to the end. So we already know what identifiers are. Those are, where is that at? Here. They consist of letters, digits, and the underscore character. It must begin with a letter or underscore. So they're things like this and not things like this. But what is this data type thing? There's something we need to go over.